there was a time when our heavyweights would never lose or would rarely lose to other cultures in a heavyweight fight. But as it stands now, all throughout boxing, in all the weight classes, you see, diverse champions. But at one time, we dominated the sport. At one time, we totally dominated the sport of boxing. A time when Muhammad Ali was the champion. Back in the day, Meldrick Taylor, and Mark Breland, and I'm just thinking of some of the Sugar Ray Leonard, Hagler, Hearns. We dominated the sport of boxing. But something happened, from then until now. Something happened from the 60s, 70s, 80s to the year 2000. Something happened with the mind state of black men in particular. In the 60s, 70s, 80s, we were proud. 90s, we were proud. We were black and we were proud, like James Brown said. Black and proud. And we may have had bravado and been braggadocious, but we could back it up. We always were able to go in there and back it up in the ring. And money wasn't important. So you have a lot of fighters who actually died broke because they did it for the fame. And, they did it out of their love for the sport, whatever. But money was secondary, so they were taken advantage of. But somehow we flipped it all the way around and money became the most important thing. And being a draw became important because if you're a draw by being a character, then you can make the big money. Adrian Broner could attest to what I'm saying. He would say the most outlandish things before he fought an opponent. And he had skill. He had some skill. But he refused to develop it. So every time he would step in the ring with a serious opponent, like Maidana or Pacquiao, he would get exposed. He would get exposed. And it's not just him. Deontay Wilder is the same way. Say the most outlandish things like he's the best heavyweight fighter ever. And this man has very little skills. He's big. He's a physical threat. He has a lot of power. He had an enormous amount of knockout power. But his skills are subpar. That if a good middleweight can survive his onslaught, they'll probably knock him out in the later rounds. But I say all of that to say that it's really just a sign of where black men are in general. We're chasing money. We're not really developing ourselves skill-wise. But we're still bragging like we should have some type of rights. We still have the bravado. We refuse to discipline ourselves to get better at no matter what we're doing. And I'm not speaking about all black men, but I'm telling you that there's a decline in the moral code of black men, and the principles of getting better, being better as black men. And because of that, because of this decline, we're taking L's in employment. We're taking L's in businesses. You can't go to a black community and find a whole lot of black businesses where in the 60s, 70s, 80s, we had that and we were proud of it. We had our businesses and we're proud of it. That's diminished. We're chasing money. We're chasing the quick money. And a fool and their money will soon part. Even if you get it, you're not going to be able to hold it because you didn't develop yourself on how to take care of it, how to keep it, how to pass it along as generational wealth. But we got to get back to discipline. And less talk, more work. That's our comeback. Because, we're being embarrassed right now in almost every field of endeavor. We're being embarrassed, especially when we talk a lot. We talk a lot and we're not willing to put the work in. Let's get back to discipline. Let's get back to being proud of who we are and where we came from and proud of our community. And you ain't got to worry about being, knocked out in the late rounds, where those are rounds where champions are made. When it gets tough, that's when champions are made. Peace.